What is the true cost of manufacturing staff turnover? I'm Greg Schenkel, President of Unique Training and Development and Frontline Leadership Systems. And in this Leader Feeder, we've got to look at this turnover issue in manufacturing. How much is it costing you, and what can you do to reduce it? So turnover is going to be expected in manufacturing probably no matter what. And the reason for that is the work itself can be quite challenging and difficult. And what we've noticed is that there's wage compression, meaning that the lower wages have come up, but manufacturing used to have a bigger spread. Now it doesn't have as big a spread. So that means people can look at the work itself and maybe decide, you know what, I could make maybe just a little bit less money and have an easier job of it. So turnover is going to happen in manufacturing. But remember that the cost of the turnover is extremely high. For a typical operator on the shop floor, the minimum recruiting cost is probably going to run you about $1,500. And as the position gets more senior, you're now looking at 1.5 to 2 times that person's salary. Certainly skilled trades and the people who are supporting those on the shop floor are going to find, you're going to find it's going to cost you 1.5 to 2 times salary. Plus, you're going to also see that the learning curve is baked into some of those costs too, because people aren't as productive as they could be as they're learning your business or the specifics of your company. We've all been hearing about this idea of this great rotation or great resignation, I guess. I think it's more like a great rotation in that people are leaving one job for another, and maybe, yes, they're getting a bump in their compensation. But I wonder really if anything's going to change. In other words, am I leaving one job that was and I'm going to another job that's only like the same but pays me more? I think we're missing the opportunity here. The one reason that people are somewhat indifferent to the job that they have is because there's no emotional connection to the work. So I'm reminded of one of our client sites that before we had started working with them, their turnover rate was 125%. And this wasn't just a small workforce. These were several hundred employees, and they had to hire several hundred plus more in order to keep that workforce going. And they were really frustrated. And they looked at lots of different things. They looked at how competitive their wages and benefits were. But even when you match the wages and benefits, the other issue is, what is the emotional pathway of the employees and what kinds of experiences are they having? So what they found is after they had made sure that their wages were competitive, the next issue was really, how were the employees treated? Were they given experiences that would connect them to the mission of the organization? So they did a few things that were very simple, and I actually want to cover those with you today. Tip number 1 is to provide emotional experiences. How does it feel to work in your operation? Some companies, either on purpose or by accident, end up creating this sort of signal that says, you know what, we don't trust you as an employee. I remember one had a sign that says, if you do this, you'll be fired. And that was just coming into the building. So imagine you're coming for a job interview and it's basically accusing you of doing something that would cost you your employment. But if you map the experience of the employee from the day that they start at your business, or sometimes even the day that they interview at your business, and you look at that map through the first several weeks or several months, when people are really making the decision, did I make the right choice to come and work here or did I not? And so you want them to have that sense that, yeah, this was a good choice. So take a look at those emotional experiences that the employees have after they join your company, and sometimes even before they join. The second tip is to connect them to the team. People need a sense of belonging. Human beings need relationships with other people. So you've got to make sure that they feel that this is a good spot for you. You're welcome here. These people care about you. I want to introduce you to them. I'm going to call you by name. We're going to make you feel part of the team. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to create confidence and avoid embarrassment. The reality is, a lot of people, when they start a new job, they end up breaking a lot of rules by accident. They didn't do it on purpose, just nobody told them, or if they did tell them, they just forgot. And so as a result, then they're made to feel stupid or embarrassed because they didn't know something that they should have known, and then that just creates this negative experience. So how do you come alongside people, first of all, to give them what they need to know when they need to know it, but also when they do make the inevitable mess ups, how do you make them feel about that? Do you make them feel like, oh, you're not going to amount amount to anything and you're not going to be successful? Or are you going to actually give them the encouragement that says, hey, you know what, we all make some mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. We're still happy to have you here. Because remember, unless the person is a complete misfit with your organization, you're better to invest some time and energy into them to make them stay. And think about it this way, is if the employee experience is better working for you than what they could get somewhere else, even if the pay is different, they will probably look back and even return to your organization because of the experience that you created for them. Now, once you've realized that you can impact and reduce employee turnover in manufacturing by these simple steps, you're going to want to work on some of your other leadership capabilities because let's face facts. People often leave a job because of the relationship or the bad relationship they have with their supervisor or manager. So we can help through the Frontline Leadership program, which is available in a number of different formats. We do it in English, Spanish, and French. We can do it in person and on site for your organization, or more than ever, you can see in our virtual training studio that we actually can do it quite effectively using our high-definition multi-camera studio. No matter how we can help you and your leadership team become successful, it always starts with a conversation, and that can happen on our website at uniquedevelopment.com. Connect with us on LinkedIn and Facebook and start this journey with us to exceptional leadership.